siopao, nikuman, salapao, manapua. There's all these different terms that different cultures around the world call steamed buns. For us Filipinos, we love our siopao. Typically, I see shredded barbecue meat or like a meatball mixture as filling for siopao, but today I actually want to make like a corned beef filling and then a vegan shiitake mushroom filling. So it's something different for you guys to try out. Okay, we're gonna start with the bread, and I'm gonna use my best friend ever, the KitchenAid mixer. Go get one for yourself. I have a link in the description below. And trust me, you'd be a lot more motivated to make stuff like this if you actually had one. In your awesome stand mixer, mix 2.5 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, and then mix it all up before you add 1 teaspoon of instant yeast so the salt doesn't directly touch the yeast. That'll kill it. Mix all the dry ingredients together and then add about 3/4 to 1 cup of water just until all the flour is picked up. Then add 1 tablespoon of oil. Knead this on medium speed for about 7 to 10 minutes, checking periodically until the dough is smooth and stretches a little bit before breaking. Now cover this dough and let it rise until it doubles in size. While that's happening, we're gonna make a corned beef filling. Chop up a whole medium onion. I love a lot of onions with my corned beef, but you can cut it back a little bit if you don't like it that much. I'm using my handy dandy Lodge cast iron skillet so that it can soak up some of the wonderful corned beef flavor. This is the lid to my Dutch oven cast iron set, and you can get your own with a link in the description below. I'm using Delimondo corned beef, which is apparently corned beef sent from the heavens. Instead of oil, we're gonna use lard from the corned beef can. Scrape some fat from the can, there's no shortage in there. Then saute the onions until they're translucent. Afterwards, add the rest of the corned beef. It's so bad, but it's so good. I wish you guys could smell it from the video. Now set that aside to cool down, and then we're gonna work on our vegan shiitake siopao filling. I grabbed about 3 handfuls of dried shiitake mushrooms, and then I soaked it in boiling water for about 15 minutes to soften. Chop up some carrots and cabbage to accompany the shiitake mushrooms, then dice the shiitake mushrooms once they've fully hydrated. This is actually a ton of filling because, like, aside from this video, I made like over 24 of these siopaos. So cut back to maybe about like 1 handful of each ingredient. I'm using a separate pan. I don't want to contaminate this precious vegan filling with meat juices. Heat up about 2 tablespoons of oil, then dump all the veggies and the shiitake mushrooms in the pan. Saute it for about 5 minutes on medium to low heat, then add this magical black bean garlic sauce if you're too lazy to make your own sauce like I am. It is vegan, I checked the label, and it provides this amazing umami flavor. I added about 2 tablespoons in here, but add just enough so that all of the vegetables in your mixture is coated with the black bean sauce. Crack some black pepper on top, then cover with a lid to cook for about 3 minutes more on medium heat. The black bean sauce is pretty salty, so add some sweetener. I'm using about 2 tablespoons of agave syrup and about a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. Cook this mixture for about 3 more minutes until all the vegetables are soft and tender. Set this aside and we can punch down the dough now that it's doubled in size. Remove all the air bubbles and divide the dough evenly into 12 pieces. I'm weighing mine out, you don't have to, you can just eyeball it. Keep the dough covered while you're working on the siopao so that the dough doesn't dry out. Now take 1 piece of dough and flatten it into a circle. Use a rolling pin or your fingers to make the outsides of the dough thinner. Scoop a tablespoon of the shiitake filling into the dough and then enclose it and then pinch the dough together so that none of the filling spills out. I tried to do some like fancy crimping to close the siopao on the top, but I couldn't make it look good, so I just flipped it upside down so you don't have to look at it. Wait for the corned beef to cool down a little bit so the liquid kind of solidifies. Then do the same thing you did with the vegan siopao. Now allow these siopao to rest for about like 20 to 25 minutes. Don't let it rise too much. You don't want it to get too puffy. So if you're in a hot room, then maybe only 15 minutes. Now take out your steamer and then fill the bottom pot with liquid and bring it to a boil. Once that's boiling, turn the heat all the way to low. You can use parchment paper on the bottom of the steam rack so the siopao doesn't stick, but I'm gonna use banana leaves for bonus Filipino flavors. Give these guys a little bit of space in the steamer because they will get bigger. When you cover this, use a towel with a lid so the condensation from the liquid won't drip onto the siopao. It'll give it like ugly dots on the surface. I found that for this size, steam it for 7 minutes on low heat. Keep a timer. Once that's done, turn off the heat and then keep the lid on for another 5 minutes. Don't skip this part. It will shrink and get wrinkly. If you don't believe me, go take a look for yourself. Ugh, it's so ugly. Well, anyway, you want it to look beautifully plump and fluffy like this. Beautiful. And the best part about siopao is that it's portable, so you can eat it anywhere you go. So obviously, if I had to choose, I would definitely eat the corned beef siopao, but this vegan siopao is also really good. Make the vegan version for your vegan friends because it's sad when they can't eat along with everybody else who's eating the corned beef siopao. Before I leave, I'm going to remind you again to make your life easier by getting a KitchenAid stand mixer. It is life-changing. And again, the link is in the description below. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you guys are coming back next week. Yeah? Okay, bye.